So you guys can't hear. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Can you hear now? Yes. Hopefully it should be working now. Welcome everybody. Ahlan wa sahlan. Marhaban to this live stream. My name is Yaqut Zaman. Let me just go on TikTok as well. Okay, let's go. Yeah, so welcome everybody. Today is Saturday. Today has been a very cold day in the UK. Very cold. They're saying it might snow in a few days. Allahu A'lam. But yeah, so basically it's been quite cold. I've just been spending most of the time indoors. Otherwise, I start to get my arthritis pains, and then I feel fatigue. So we don't want that. Anyway, so how's everyone been? Has everyone been good? Have you guys been enjoying this week? So those of you guys who do not know, my name is Liaquat Zaman. I have 25 years. I'm going to keep saying this to you guys now. I have 25 years experience in studying and teaching Arabic. And I think then after that, people will think, oh, this guy, maybe we should listen to him. Because I've seen that on social media, people say that, and that's the only way that you can get across your message. So Mondays, I make videos. I put up videos on my YouTube channel. It's called Roots of Knowledge. I put videos up of learning how to recite the Quran. And Wednesdays, I put up lessons on Arabic poetry. And the Arabic poetry that I am doing at the moment is Mutanabbi. So I've covered the poetry of Imam Shafi. You can check all that out. It's all free of charge. You can check out the poetry of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. And you can check out now the poetry of Al-Mutanabbi. So doing Mutanabbi at the moment. Inshallah. We'll see how that goes. Inshallah. So let me know, inshallah, what other types of videos you like to see. Thursdays do Hanafi fiqh, Mukhtasar al-Quduri, a very classical text. And Fridays and Saturdays we have live stream. And in between, I put up a range of videos for you guys to benefit from, inshallah. And that's it basically. So I also teach Arabic. Unfortunately, at the moment, I do not teach one-to-one classes online, apart from those who are part of my Patreon. So those of you guys who support my Patreon, I do teach you guys now and again. But I don't really have time for one-to-one. I think one-to-one is a bit difficult at the moment for me because of my timings. But otherwise, I make these videos. And my aim of this channel is to provide free of charge videos and all the courses, inshallah, once it's all done for every subject in Islamic institutes that are taught. I am originally from Pakistan, Pashtun, but I am born and brought up in the UK. Masa al khair, ahla wa sahlan, ahla wa sahlan. Wa alaikum assalam. Would you get a second wife? Why not? Would I get a third wife, fourth wife? Is that a question to ask a man? It's not like a question you ask a man here. It's the sunnah of the Sahaba, so. Would you, my brother? Wa alaikum assalam, Abu Bakr, ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. Welcome. Yeah, so let's have a look at some of the posts that I have put up recently, because a lot of people have been asking about the kind of stuff that I put up. Yesterday I put up a post on my social media, on my Telegram and on my Facebook. It was, what was it? Let me check. It was about preparing scholars for the modern world. So I wrote this long post, and it's basically about this idea, the whole issue of madrasas producing students, but they don't really have the ability to be able to communicate their knowledge to the wider community, like especially when it comes to media. Yeah, so non-Muslims, etc. They don't really have that skill inside of them. So recently we had an imam who came on Tommy Robinson's, videos. So I think it caused up a lot of stir amongst the Muslim community, and I think it's very important for madrasas to train scholars in how to communicate properly. Unfortunately, I mean, ulama in the UK have never really been tested in their communication skills because they usually give talks to the, like you said, to the choir. They give talks to the Muslim community. But I think it's important for um, wider community to understand how important scholars need to have communication skills. Sheikh Salim Dorat came to East London today. MashaAllah, ahlan wa sahlan. Can you give me some good Aqidah book recommendations apart from Akitawi? Quran. I would say Quran is probably the best. If you have not studied the Quran cover to cover, I don't think there's much point in actually starting Aqidah because you're just going to get more confused. You need to understand what's in the Quran. أنا لا أعرف الإنجليزية للأسف. للأسف. Let's tell you. تفضل تفضل. Yeah, so للأسف, unfortunately, I cannot speak in Arabic on the live stream because majority of you guys only understand English. Inshallah, my brother, inshallah, HH, I will inshallah one day come to London. Oh, by the way, inshallah, I'm going to be going to Scotland in a few weeks' time. Anyway, Scotland, Glasgow, and then Dundee and Perth. There was going to be a talk in Edinburgh, but then that was going to take too long. So yeah, those are the three. What's the best book after Kuduri? There is no such thing as a best book after Kuduri. There's, as in, it's your ability. What level are you at? So generally, I would say to move on to something like Sharh al-Wiqaya. Sharh al-Wiqaya would be a good move, or maybe even Ikhtiyar. Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. Vancouver, welcome, welcome. Oh, I forgot Scotland. Come, forget Scotland. Difference between Scotland and London. Scotland invites me. London doesn't invite me. That's the problem. Lubab, yeah, you can do Lubab. But Lubab is something you should be able to read with Kuduri. Like, you're going to waste your time if you're going to do Kuduri and then do Lubab. Lubab, you should be able to read with Kuduri. So, when I teach Kuduri, I get students on some sections to read Lubab on the side and to summarize it for me. You're welcome, Nostradamus. You're welcome. Wa alaikum assalam. AB, ahlan wa sahlan. The moderator is here. I hope you and family are well. Can you explain if someone joins in Maghrib Salah in 1, 2, or 3 rakats? Yeah, I've actually made a video on this on my YouTube channel. I think on my TikTok as well. It's right at the beginning of the videos. Yeah, so if, for example, if a person is praying, the Imam prays 3 rakats in Maghrib. Yeah, 3 rakats in Maghrib. And so if someone was to join at the start, obviously, when the Imam gives salam, they don't have to make anything up. If someone was to join after the first rakat in the second rakat, so they have to, after Imam gives salam, they have to stand up and make up the third rakat. And that rakat is going to be the first one that they missed. So in the first one, normally Surah Fatiha and a surah is recited, so they have to read that. If they come in the third rakat, then they have to make up 2 rakats. So those 2 that they missed. But the difference is once they pray the first rakat, they have to sit down, do tashahud, and then they get up and pray the second rakat. Yeah. But I made a video on it. You can check the video. It's a bit more easier to understand. Is YouTube, TikTok warning halal? YouTube, TikTok warning halal. Warning. I don't understand. Oh, yeah, no, bro. Thank you so much from the Basque country. I am learning Arabic. Thanks you. You're welcome, my brother. You are welcome. Are you still teaching Hidayah? Yes. Alhamdulillah. Hair is looking epic. I know today. I don't know. So you can see all the white hairs in my hair. It's looking. It's that beard oil, bro. It's the beard oil. I put it in my hair as well. What's your favorite Alimiya year besides Bukhari? Uh, Actually, Bukhari year isn't my favorite year. My favorite year is probably the year threes and year two, threes, and four. The years two, threes, and four are usually my favorite ones. As in, the subjects. I like the subjects in there. I think they meant YouTube, TikTok earning halal. I don't know how you guys understand each other so quick, and I find it hard. من أين أنت؟ أنا من بريطانيا. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. First rakat you catch with Imam is your first rakat you make up with Tilawah. Yes. Walaikum assalam. How can I join Hidayah, please? Can you send? Yeah, so email learningdeen@gmail.com, and the deen has 2 3s instead of E. It's all one word. Or just DM me and I'll send you the link. Can we consume the inside of, for example, capsules which contain, can we consume the insides? As in, you're not going to consume the capsule, just the inside, yes? As long as the insides are halal. Which Arabic dialect do you usually use? I use, I don't know which one it is. I think you call it a neutral. It's like a neutral Fusha. Walaikum assalam, my brother Muhammad. Ahla wa sahlan. At work currently, but we'll try to watch on the weekend. Subhanallah. This is the dedication, bro. Certain banks have initiatives where if you refer someone or are referred by someone, you both get money like £5 or £50 or something like this. I don't really know, because I have to kind of look at the contract terms and conditions exactly what that money is for. I mean, if you look at it one way, if you look at it in the sense that it's considered to be like a gift, then possibly. But if it's considered to be like an ijara, form of ijara, that they are paying you to find someone to join, then maybe no, because because I don't know, maybe because the income of the bank is considered to be problematic, and you're kind of encouraging them depending on what kind of account they're joining, etc. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. I don't really know the answer to this because I'll have to look into it. What do you say? Can Allah help with any bad situation? Of course. Is it permissible to pay a single kafara for breaking multiple oaths? Is it permissible to pay a single kafara? It depends what kind of oath it is. As in you made one oath. What exactly was said in the oath has to be looked at as well. Prayer on Mars. Good question. Muhammad's got an answer for that. Can you combine prayers on Mars? Walaikum assalam, Jaja. Do you have dedicated class for Arabic speaking? Not at the moment. No, I don't. Is white discharge najis? White discharge from a man? Like pre-seminal. Wa alaikum assalam. Abdullah, ahla wa sahlan. A few questions on Umrah. If in Mecca, is Masjid Aisha miqat? No, Masjid Aisha is not miqat. Miqat is very far from Masjid Aisha. Masjid Aisha is the hudud of the haram. It's called the hudud of the haram. The closest miqat in Mecca is probably Taif or Jeddah. That's probably the closest. Best book on Sahaba and Seerah. I think maybe in English, probably Martin Ling's Muhammad or Sirat Mustafa by Kandelwi. Probably that one might be quite good. Hello, my alaikum salam. Is it allowed for a non-mahram to listen to a female reciting Quran melodiously? I would say if this kind of thing should be avoided. For men, they should avoid it. Yeah, because it can be something which might trigger, inside some feelings, and then it's Quran, so it's not really the best place, right? So I think I would avoid it. I mean, I don't listen to it, so I would say it should be avoided. Malika, النظر لابد عن الوفاء بل إذا كان النظر مقيد مثلا والله سأصوم يوم الاثنين القادم بل جاء اليوم ولم يصم فما الحكم هل عليه الكفارة؟ نعم فإذا قال أحد أنه سيصوم يوم كذا مثل ما سألت في السؤال أنه سيصوم اليوم الاثنين والله وذكر فيه اسم الله فقد أوجب على نفسه صوم ذلك اليوم فيجب عليه الصوم وإذا لم يصم فقد حنث فعليه الكفارة. نعم الكفارة هو يعني كما هو المشهور إطعام 10 مساكين من أوسط ما تطعمون أهليكم أو كسوتهم أو تحرير رقبة. نعم لا ليس عليه قضاء بل عليه كفارة. What do you think of Jami Al Karam? I have never been there. I've heard of it, but unfortunately, I don't have too much information. If you can tell me information about it, maybe I can maybe visit one day. Then I'll be able to, inshallah. Because I don't really like talking about things I don't know much about. I think it's unfair. If someone asks me about someone or asks me about a place, then I think it's unfair for a person to. What do you guys think? Things to know if we go to Masjid Aqsa. Things to know if you go to Masjid Aqsa, stay away from the Zionists as much as possible. Yeah, stay away from these guys as much as possible. These guys are just vile people. These are. But I've been kicked out of Palestine, by the way, so you can tell. Alhamdulillah, I've been there about 6 times, but I was deported at the airport. But what I would say is, if you do go there, try to spend as much time as you can in the masjid. Spend as much time in the masjid, and that's the best thing. Help out the locals if you can. Buy stuff from them. Is there any way to contact you privately for advice? Yes, email. So my email should be there at the bottom. You can email me, inshallah. What about music in general? For example, some Sami Yusuf melodies have female vocalists. Yeah, these kind of things should be avoided. I mean, see, the thing is, just because someone makes a nasheed or something, it doesn't mean that we can listen to it. That's the thing we have to understand. Please visit, inshallah. Inshallah. Sajda tilawa in prayer, what to do? So do it. So if you're in tilawa, if you're in prayer and you do sajda tilawa, go down, do sajda, come back up. Details about your barber. Details about. Are you on some drugs, bro? Are you like being smoking the wrong things? My barber's name is Jay, by the way. Jay. He's a Sikh guy, but he's Sikh guy, but he knows hadith. I mean, he's surprised. He tells me hadith, tells me translations. He knows Ayat al-Kursi. Yeah, oh, surprised. He's got a lot of interest in Islam. I heard you led a prayer there too. Yes, Alhamdulillah, mashallah. I had the opportunity to lead the prayer in the Dome of the Rock, Alhamdulillah. It was, I think it was Isha prayer, mashallah. What to eat in Asda? Oh, yeah, in Asda, let me tell you what to eat in Asda, yeah. They got some very, very good blueberries. Asda got some good blueberries. I like getting blueberries from Asda, the big ones in those. Yeah, those are good things to get from Asda. Blueberries. They used to have I don't still have camel's milk. I used to get camel's milk from there as well. So Aqsa, what to eat in Aqsa? MashaAllah. Yeah, I think bro's on some new medication, I think. Continue slow Arabic vids, they're the best. Inshallah, I will inshallah make dua that Allah gives me tawfiq, inshallah. The thing with me is I have this mind where I like developing things. So if I come up with something, then after a while, I can't just keep doing that same thing. I have to develop it, see what other things I can come up with. So I've been thinking of some new ideas. Like one of the ones is the slow Arabic, where I repeat one sentence. So I start off with one word and progressively I add extra words onto it. So I've been, playing around with that a bit. So inshallah, I'm going to see other ideas. I made a crossword today. I don't know if you guys seen it. A crossword. I realized it's a bit hard for people. Yeah, so I'm thinking of these ideas, trying to see what's the best way to teach through this kind of medium. Woman's white discharge, najis or not? Ikhtilaf. Abu Adam is like proper. He just wants like a straight answer. Innit? Yeah, I like you, bro. I like you. You just want straight answer. You don't even ask the full full question. What's the ruling on trimming hair for men after Umrah? So men can either shave their head or trim their head, but they have to do one or two. One of the two. I have a question. Tafaddal, ask the question. I don't mind you guys asking questions. Please try to imagine I don't know what's in your head. So you have to ask the question in a way that makes it very clear to me. فيديوهاتك العربية جيدة جدا ما شاء الله جزاك الله خير والله يجزيك أيضا هذه الكلمات الجميلة إن شاء الله أنت أدعو لي أن يسهل الله لي أن أستمر على هذا الطريقة إن شاء الله. Ruling on credit cards, as in, can you get them? I would say yes, you can get them, but as long as you're not paying interest. I always, when I start praying, stop after some months. SubhanAllah. May Allah make it easy. Remember, Islam is not going to be at the same level in your life. You're going to have ups and downs. Your iman, faith is going to go up and down. Try your best, inshallah. Every time you feel weak in faith, try and see what's the thing that is taking you away from salat. Is it bad company? Is it like movies? Is it games? Is it something else? Hassan, wa alaikum assalam. Does eye crust act as a barrier to wudu? Good question. This is a good question. I would say no. I would say generally no. Unless it's like a very, very severe, I would say no. If someone doesn't have intimacy for 4 to 6 months, is it divorce? No. For divorce to happen, they have to say divorce. Divorce can only happen if the husband says divorce. Follows increasing on TikTok. Alhamdulillah, mashallah. I never imagined this time 4 months ago what was happening. All of a sudden, it's the qadr of Allah. Wa alaikum assalam. أخي أبا خبر أخي أنا بخير خبر جيد. I don't know Indonesian, unfortunately. I wish I did. Wanted Usul Hadith call, of course. Of course, Usul Hadith course. Stupid husband say in anger. Consuming bits of the miswak while fasting, fast valid or nah? Kya baat, Abu Adam. You are like proper Al-Hanafi, you are. So I mean, if you're consuming it as in you're deliberately eating it to swallow it, then your fast breaks, of course. But if you've used it and you can't tell it's going down the throat, then I would say no. Root of all knowledge. Admin disappeared. That's a good question. Actually, that's a mantiki question, that is, because uruk al-ilm. What is the alif lam over there? Is it alif lam lil istighraq? Is it alif lam lil jins? Is it alif lam lil ahad? So that's a good question, but I assume moderators knew this person was gonna try to waste time. So, masa over turban and hijab with hadith, please. Not allowed. According to Hanafi, is not allowed. My passion is Arabic language. Currently on both Medina books and Arabic QnA. What's next? Next, try to read stories on your own. The biggest problems Arabic students have, I would say 80 to 90% of Arabic students have a problem, which they get too used to being spoon-fed. To such an extent, I've seen students 5-6 years, they're still learning Arabic. And you're thinking 5-6 years. So what basically happens is they get so hooked up on how the teacher's teaching them. They think they have to learn everything through a teacher. What you need to do is once you learn a good level of Arabic, then you need to start reading on your own. Yeah, start to read, you know, start to read storybooks, kids' books on your own as much as you can. Spend 2 or 3 months every day just reading kids' books. Does swallowing phlegm during namaz break the namaz? No. Wa alaikum assalam. Allah barakatuh. Khair, ahlan wa sahlan, sanga Sim Saab. Ya Allah. Alaikum assalam, Jundullah, mashallah, Jundullah. Do you know of the scholars of Sicily during Muslim rule? I don't know any specific scholars. I mean, I've heard of scholars from Sicily because Sicily was called Saqaliya. Yeah, Saqaliya. So they had like a short rule. I think it was just less than a century of rule they had over there. Saqaliya. But I don't know any specific. إذا كان الشخص قد حلف عدة أيام خلال حياته ولم يفي بها ولم يتذكر عددها ولا على ماذا كانت، نعم، إذن لا يجب عليه شيء لأنه الله لا يكلف الإنسان إلا حسب وسعه. Good day. وعليكم السلام أبو بكر. أهلا وسهلا. Welcome. Can you wipe over a plaster in wudu? Yes. So if you have a plaster because of an injury, you wipe over it with the right hand. Do you speak Pashto? जी हाँ, जो पख्तो की मुखाबले कॉलेज शमा संगे रोड़ा. I see certificates, FDs, and oh yes, that's it. Boss is communicating. Is start praying and then stopping and doing so several times a sin. You know what? This is obviously different people have different problems in their lives. What I would say is this: if you know you're doing wrong, ask Allah forgiveness. Allah will wipe your slate clean, and then go over those prayers again, inshallah. Can you show al-fiqh al-Hanafi wa adillatuhu? Can I show it to you as in on the screen? Yeah, I will show you, my brother. الفقه الحنفي وأدلته. So this is الفقه الحنفي وأدلته. This is a very good for those who study in Quduri. I would definitely recommend. I used to read this with Quduri, so I would definitely recommend this. Yeah, it's 3 volumes. Yeah, you can even see this is my one of my exam cards. In the madrasa, I used to have an exam card. Yeah, الثانوية الخاصة. This is my exam card. That's my exam number. So you didn't put your name on your exam. You had to put exam number because so it kind of stops anyone from trying to cheat. If you know the teacher well, and then the teacher will give you extra marks. So this is it, and this is another one. Al-Fiqh al-Hanafi fi Thawbih al-Jadid, and this I would definitely recommend if after someone studies Hidayah, read this with it. Yeah, so this is very good. It's quite advanced. Should someone buy books in advance? For example, if someone is studying Quduri, can he buy Al-Hidayah? Of course he can. Of course. Whatever rocks your boat, my brother. Yeah, I mean, generally, I obviously, if I find a good offer, I'll buy a book in advance when I was studying. When wearing khuffain, can we wear shoes and wipe over them without taking them off? Yes. It basically acts like the masla of Jarmuq's best commentary for Al-Hidayah. So there is no such thing as a best commentary, I would say, but there are different good ones. So Fatul Qadir is probably one of the good ones. Binaya is very nice. Inaya is very nice. Yeah, these are the usual 3 that I go to. I can't find a copy anywhere. Is there anywhere in Karachi that have it? I actually got this from Karachi. This was about 15, maybe 20 years ago. 20 years ago I got this. So you'd have to go around and ask them. I mean, if you go around Banuri town, the maktabah's there, and ask them. Should do a library tour, inshallah, my brother, one day, inshallah. Khadim al-Fuqara. لكني لا أتحدث الإنجليزية بل أتحدث الفرنسية. بونجور بونجور سافا très bien. أنا لا أعرف أكثر من هذا للأسف. Do you know any good bookshops in Karachi that would sell? So if you go around Banuri town, I mean, I think I got my one from, I think it was Maktaba Islamiyya outside of Banuri town. But if you go there now and you tell them, I definitely know that they'll probably be able to get one for you. Consuming substances featured in this live could harm your health. Yeah, I think they think tea is alcohol. Yeah, tea is alcohol. So, guys, those of you guys who can't see, basically on TikTok, if you drink some substance and they think it's alcohol, they put some limitations on your live stream. Allah yahfadak Shaykhana, ahlan wa sahlan. Ameen ya Rab. Did you see one of your fellow Deoband scholars stupid? No, he's not my fellow Deobandi. He's probably your, I don't know, henna artist, one of your, I don't want to say because other people might get me upset. Yeah. See, the thing is, there are vile people out there who, there's bigger things happening in the ummah and all they have to do is make slurs. Yeah, these kind of things, obviously, it doesn't befit a Muslim, whether it's a woman saying this or whether it's a man saying this. Yeah, I mean, these kind of people are very sad people. I mean, that just shows you that's the problem they have in their heart. Whenever someone criticizes, remember this, whenever someone criticizes, always remember that's their insecurity coming out whenever they do. When Fir'aun criticized Musa, it was his insecurity. When Iblis criticized Adam, it was his insecurity. When the Munafiqs of Medina criticized the Sahaba, it was their insecurity. So you basically see what's inside of you, isn't it? So if you're a very pessimistic person, it means inside of you, you're always going to see things like that. So these people, unfortunately, I feel sorry for them. When they kind of attack Brailvis or Deobandis or Salafis, the person is probably a Brailvi or probably a Salafi. It's one of those two. And it's sad. I mean, it's sad kind of lifestyle you have in it. You got to criticize other people to make yourself. That's the only way to make yourself feel important. You have to criticize someone. Yeah. Anyway, so the moderators did a good job. Or is it too fast for me? Are you streaming somewhere else? Yes, on YouTube as well. Henna art to the sectarian comments. What a time. You can imagine if she's doing like art for someone on their hands and saying, these Deobandis, yeah? Them, these guys are like proper out of. Ya Allah. Yo, Moz, you muted my other account. Had to join with this one. Mods, you guys are naughty people, you guys are. We want to liberate Palestine, but we don't want to unite. That's true. See, that's the thing, isn't it? So the question would be, are Muslims just saying what they see? Or do they honestly, in their hearts, have sincerity for the ummah? That's the big question that we need to ask ourselves. Because you can see symptoms, isn't it? If someone strives for the ummah, you can see it in their actions, you can see it in their words. And if someone's just after labels and names and just, status quo, you can see, unfortunately. Do you know Umar Zaman from? So there's quite a few Umar Zamans in a Sufa. Which one exactly? He's teaching at Abrahamic Foundation about Hadith. Umar Zaman. Okay, Umar Zaman. Yeah. Chachi Umar Zaman, yeah? Chachi. Yeah, I know Umar Zaman. There's a graduate from Sufa, that one. Wa alaikum assalam. Remember, I saw you at Juma. I don't. Oh, at night. Yes, UK. MashaAllah. Yes, I remember now. See, now I got a face to a name now. So, mashallah, I was in Juma Sufa and Night came up to me, shook my hand and told me he's Night. She puts anti-Deobandi on the hand. Please explain the Salah importance in Haramain. Salah importance in Haramain? I don't know what you mean, brother. I'm sure you can find a hadith on Google about the virtues of Salat in Haramain. Telling all the customers to make bara'ah. Allah forgive him. Allah forgive him. What's the best advice for reverts to keep ties with relatives who are possibly even violent? I mean, what I would say is, look, it's very difficult because I do not know the situation of these kind of individuals. Very hard. Whatever advice I give is always going to be an advice that's been affected by my lifestyle. So I might not know what this person's going through. And then I might give advice which might not be like 100% accurate for that person. It might be 60% accurate for that person. What I would generally say is this: first and foremostly, remember, you accepted Islam and you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with you. That's the main thing that you remember. Allah is always going to be with you. Just like Allah was with Bilal radiallahu anhu when they put the rock on his chest. And just like they were with Ammar bin Yasir's parents. And just like they were with, Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu in the cave. Allah is with. That's the first thing. Second thing is, People will always start off harsh and then slowly they will start, because they can't remain violent and harsh all the time. It will naturally die down. So that's always to remember. It will die down. It will not. It won't continue at that same intensity. Thirdly, is inshallah in your character you're going to show them goodness. You're going to speak to them, whatever they say. You're going to sit with them. You're going to show them kindness, goodness, and inshallah through that they will become affected. Inshallah. And if there's anyone that's got some good advice as well, where would you want to live, Mecca or Medina? I think Medina. Young guy from Spark Hill. For Usul Hadith course, if in the ihram, can you touch the Kaaba as it has sent? You can touch it, but then the problem is you will be breaking the rules of ihram and you'll have to give them, you have to slaughter an animal. Are video games halal? Depending what's in there. Going to apply to the Umrah tour you're doing, inshallah. Welcome. Welcome, bro. How many people are you taking for Umrah in December? I do not know. I have no idea. I am just going to be giving talks there. So I don't know. I don't deal with the organization or anything like that. I don't know. I assume it'll probably be about 30, maybe 35, something like that. The hadith of reward from Mecca and Medina is an entire city behind any imam in any masjid, or just so in Mecca. I mean, there's no hadith. I don't know any hadith that talks about the virtue of praying in Mecca, but the virtue of Masjid al-Haram, yes. Virtue of Masjid al-Haram is to do with the masjid. And it's not necessarily the imam of the haram. You can pray on your own as well in the haram. Any good classical books on marriage? What I would suggest, I'm going to be doing a course in the Sofa at the end of the first week of December now. We moved first week of December on a marriage course. Inshallah, I'm reading up at the moment about it. There's a very good book I will suggest. It's called The 5 Languages of Love. Yeah, The 5 Languages of Love. This is a very good Gary Chapman. Very, very beneficial book. I think every husband and wife, before they get married, they need to read this book. And even if you're married, read the book. That's one book I read. And there's another one, which is I forgot the name of the book now, The 7 Keys of Successful Marriage. Yeah, that's also, I've almost finished that book now. That's also a good book. So I'm going to take notes from different books, inshallah. And you know what my courses are like, guys. They're a bit different and a new kind of touch to it. So inshallah, make sure you guys attend. Barakallah feek, Shaykh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Masjid Nabi or Masjid al-Haram? I don't know what you're on about, Masjid Nabi. Like, you guys, you youngsters, I think you guys don't know I'm an old guy. I am not with your young lingo. I need the full question. Which tour group do you advise for Aqsa trip? I don't know. I have been with a few. I think probably Sabil Travels is the one that I've been with the most. So they're quite reliable as well. Sorry, question is, once you have finished Umrah and wanted to do another one, can you wear ihram in Masjid Aisha? Yes. You can, as long as you go out of the haram area, then you can wear another one. Alaikum assalam wa Yusuf. What's a language of love? So basically the book of language of love is humans, when we interact with each other, there's certain things that when they are done for us, it makes us appreciate the other person more. So for example, there's some people who are gifters, so they like gifts. When you gift them something, they appreciate it a lot. It's a language of love. Some people like touch. Some people like good words. Some people like service, like when you do something for them. So these are different things that are basically the language of love. I think he's actually written a book for the language of love for parents, for children, how parents create relationship between them and children. So I would say it's a very good book, like really eye opener. Definitely, you read it, you won't be upset. I mean, you won't feel I wasted my time. Yeah, so it's a good book. Triple talaq in one go result to divorce or not? I've heard from Hanafi that it does not. If 3 talaqs is done as 3 talaqs, then 3 is 3. Yeah. But if a person says a talaq once, but then keeps on repeating it, as in, like he says to his wife, "You're divorced," and then she goes, "What? You're divorced?" And she goes, "Huh? You're divorced? I can't hear what you're saying. You're divorced." Even if he says it 100 times, only once, because He's just repeating that one talaq. But if he says three talaqs as three separate talaqs, then it's talaq. I want you to speak Arabic. وأنا كذلك أريد أن أتكلم باللغة العربية ولكن للأسف أكثر المشاهدين لا يفهمون هذه اللغة فلا أريد أن أثقل عليهم. What's your language of love? I'll tell you. I'll tell you privately, bro. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe it just depends on it. There's actually language of love between friends as well. I think he wrote a book on language of love between friends. I haven't read that book. Are there different du'as to pray in Umrah in each tawaf? There's nothing from the Prophet ﷺ, but some of the ulama have written some du'as that you can read, and you can find them if you Google it. You'll find people have written these. Tea on Thursday is the love, bro. Oh yes. I used to listen to your videos. Ah, mashallah. Ya Allah, hasbunallah. I'm not Arabic speaker, neither English, but I learned English through my academic studies. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome, my brother. MashaAllah. You write very well. Walaikum assalam. If someone runs an online business and outsources some tasks to freelancers, but there's a chance those freelancers might not be using fully licensed software, is the owner's income halal? Yes. And I want to learn Nahu and Sarf, but every time I try my best to learn, I find it difficult. Like, it's look complicated. Mate, if I get advice from you, what I would suggest is start off from the basics. I have a course called Ajurrumiya on my YouTube channel. Check that out, inshallah. Start off with the basics. Focus more on trying to grasp the language more than the grammar. Alaikum assalam. What does mourning for 3 days mean after close relative pass away? Mourning for 3 days means officially you stop everything in your life and people will come to visit you in these 3 days. So it's official sort of like public announcement to everyone that these are the 3 days that we're going to be mourning. Yeah, bereavement. And then after that, you should not have it official. You should stop then. And if people want to come and visit you, that's fine. But you don't have an official. I'm a talib al-ilm, but I struggle to write bayanat on specific topics. When I start writing, nothing comes to mind, even though I know related hadith and Quran. So don't worry about it. That's normal. It happens with students of knowledge. The reason this happens is because, in madrasas unfortunately generally do not teach a student of how to think, right? Like how to independently think. What they teach them is how everyone else thinks. So in a madrasa, you learn how the grammarians think, and you learn how the mufassirin think, and you learn how the fuqaha think. But you'll never be told in your 6, 7, 8 years of madrasa of how you should think, right? And how you develop your thinking, which I think is a problem. It's a very big problem because when students graduate, they find it hard to try and understand how do they navigate through life because they still want to follow someone who thinks for them. Because you've always been following how your teachers think. Now, once you're in the real world, it's like, I'm an imam of a mosque now. I have to make decisions. I have to answer people's questions. How do I think? So one of the good things in iftar is iftar helps you to a degree, helps you to think independently. So don't worry about that. What I would say is what you do is get a piece of paper and write your thoughts. So get used to every single day. You can do it several times a week if you like. Start writing your thoughts about different things. Like, let's say something happens in the world. Just write your thoughts, what you think. That could be right or wrong, doesn't matter. Right. And this slowly builds you up into how to look at things in different perspectives. This is my own personal experience. So when it comes to bayans, what you need to do in a bayan is once you start understanding what is important for the audience, because your bayan is not supposed to be for you, how good you are. Your bayan is supposed to be orientated around the audience. Yeah. So what you need to do is you need to think, okay, what do my audience need? Like, for example, if it's to do with taqwa, you might say, okay, write down a piece of paper, taqwa, and then say, what's the problems of not having taqwa in your life in our community today? So people don't pray, people don't help their parents, people don't, and then you get ideas. That's how you develop ideas. I share them at times, but in Arabic. Do you teach Arabic? Not at the moment. I know the rules, but speaking is the problem. Yeah, unfortunately, the moment I don't teach Arabic. I do apologize, guys. Yeah, where I teach in madrasa, I do. I teach in some of the classes in Arabic. But no, unfortunately, I don't do, and at the moment I can't do one-to-one classes because of my times. But yeah, I mean, Arabic. I like teaching Arabic. So being sad and crying sometimes is okay after. Of course, that's totally permitted. You can't. That's something you can't help. Yeah, that's some out of your control. So it's the Allah's prohibitions will never come on emotions. Remember that. It's never comes on emotions. It comes on how to act out those emotions. Like for example, a person gets very angry. Anger is not prohibited in Islam. What's prohibited is the actions that result from anger, and and anything like that. So the similar thing happens if a loved one passes away. Some people take years for them to get over it. I've seen people. It takes years for people to get over things. So this is something which you kind of let that person try to find closure themselves. But the official mourning itself means the official, like, what do you call it? Sort of event, you can say. Alaikum assalam. Going to Umrah with my family. MashaAllah. Daughter recently started period. We are only in Makkah for 2 days. Can she do tawaf and enter masjid? Yeah. So what she can do in that situation is she does her Umrah, she does her tawaf, but then she will have to do a sacrifice of a goat. Yeah. So you can do it online. You can send the money and they'll get it done. Ask someone locally at the masjid, at the kiosks, and they'll tell you where you can be done. Sick beard, yeah. Jazakallah khair, mashallah. When I came back from Pakistan this year, I actually bought a comb with me. Yeah, one of the hotels had a nice comb, like disposable combs, and it was very nice. It felt so good on my beard. Like I've never experienced a comb like that. And so I've just got it in my pocket, and I just use it every single day, all the time. So this is it's a wooden comb, and it works nicely on my beard. So yeah, I think I've been grooming my beard the past few months. If you guys have been noticing, more than usual. Jazakallah khair, David Banner. Are you going to turn into Incredible Hulk? Leave or shave mustache? As in, are you asking me if I would leave or shave my mustache, or are you asking me according to the Hanafi madhab? Youngsters, man, you youngsters, you guys, your brains work too fast for me. I'm too slow for you guys. Hanafi madhab, there's a difference of opinion. There's two opinions. So there's no shaving in the Hanafi madhab. There's actually trimming very low. Imam Tahawi has an opinion about halq, but generally they say qasr. You trim it very, very low. Yeah, trim it very, very low. Yeah. But obviously nowadays a lot of people shave it, so that's like an alternative. Yeah, both. I used to shave my mustache, but now since 2016, I've just started leaving it. Yeah, I started leaving it. So, is it not makruh to shave? No, not according to the majority of Hanafis. No, according to Imam Malik, he says he considers it makruh because there's no shaving in the hadith. The Prophet ﷺ says, "What? Lengthen your beards, awful luha, and wahfu shawarib." Yeah, there's no wahliqu shawarib. There's no halq sharib. Wa alaykum assalam, TMZ. Could you give the evolution of the definition of alcohol? So, okay. So, basically, according to Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, he says that when it comes to khamr in the Quran, khamr specifically refers to the drink which is made from grapes. And then extended to that would be the drinks made from dates as well, which was predominant in Medina. So, this is what innamal khamru wal maisiru wal ansab. This comes under that. So, that is the categorical qat'i prohibited. If one drop goes on your clothes, it's najis. If you drink one drop, then you can get the penalty for it, and so forth. That's the one that's categorical. Yeah, you can't sell it, you can't buy it, etc. As for any other drink which is not made from these two substances, Abu Hanifa rahimahullah says these are considered to be prohibited if they intoxicate you. So now the ruling is not the substance itself; it's actually the intoxication, right? So therefore that would be considered to be sinful. But it doesn't hold the same rulings as najasa. It doesn't hold the same rulings as necessarily of selling and all that. However, Imam Abu Yusuf rahimullah his students, some say that he's with Abu Hanifa, some say it's separate, that it's all prohibited. Imam Muhammad as well, all prohibited. Anything, kullu muskirin haram. So they take the ruling that every single drink comes under khamr. So the official position of the majority of the Hanafis is that every single intoxicating drink is considered prohibited at all levels. However, they take Abu Hanifa's position when it comes to things like, um, these gels, sanitizing gels, and other things, deodorants that contain alcohol, ethanol, because those are not really going to intoxicate you, right? They're probably going to kill you before they intoxicate you. So they're not really used as drinking; they're used for on the body and creams. That's in a gist, that is. And I mean, if you are you studying it now, TMZ? Are you studying it? Jannah alaikum salam. Nadeem alaikum salam. If you were raised by your grandfather, they pass away. May Allah give him Jannah. I mean, does my du'as of forgiveness reach them as I'm not his direct son? Of course, your dua of forgiveness reaches anyone you make dua for, especially the people that you love the most. Of course. Student, alaikum assalam. Sheikh, what's more towards the sunnah for the mustache? I currently leave it like you. So the thing, when people say what's more towards, I mean, the Prophet ﷺ has never been recorded to have shaved his mustache. So if you want to follow the Prophet ﷺ more, then leaving hair on top of the lip, yeah, as in this area here, is actually closer. Because we never found, there's no hadith that we've ever found where they've mentioned he used to shave his. But he did say that hadith, right, that lengthen the beards, and then he said trim the mustache, and one version says cut it very, very low. And Abdullah bin Umar used to cut his mustache so low that it would actually, you could actually see the skin underneath, like stubble level, like that. I mean, I leave it like this because when I used to shave it, it used to grow and it used to itch a lot, and it was like one of those kind of things. Some people said to me, "Oh, you look better without a mustache." Some people said, "Oh, you look dangerous with a mustache. You look like some Bollywood kind of like a criminal gangster." Yeah, when you twist the mustache. I actually like this. It's kind of twisting. It's a very addictive habit. For someone studying part time, when should they know how to read without harakat? So it depends the frequency of your lessons. I would say they should be able to read fully without a problem definitely after two years. They should be able to. After 2 years, after completing 2 years, they should definitely be able to read at least 90% of what they read without harakat. What about urf too? Yeah, maybe urf can be taken into consideration. I mean, in these kind of things, the urf, our urf is not considered, is it? Urf of Sahaba is considered. Jazakallah, you're welcome, student. No, Sheikh, not studying it. So Nabid would be impermissible if intoxicated. Of course, yeah. So Nabid, the Prophet ﷺ would say, if the Nabid becomes intoxicated, spill it away, throw it away. So Abdullah bin Umar is reported that sometimes when he would drink the Nabid that had been left for a while, and he felt a bit disorientated, he would spill it away. Can Allah help me? Of course, Allah can help. Did the Prophet ﷺ himself, in principle, prefer virgins, although for himself, we have no record of this. For other people, he would tell some youngsters, so youngsters who were first married, he would encourage them to marry virgins. Yeah, basically girls that have never been married before, women that were never married before. He would encourage them. So he said to, for example, Jabir radiallahu anhu, he said, "Who did you get married to?" And he said, "I got married to a woman that was married previously." He said, "Why didn't you get married to a woman that's never been married before?" And he said, "Because I have siblings. My father passed away in the battle, Uhud. I have siblings, and there's no one to take care of them. So I thought I'd marry a woman who's been married before, who can take care of them." And this is the sacrifice he made, and the Prophet also made dua for him. Sheikh, they muted 2 accounts of mine on TikTok. Just came to YouTube now. Maybe you said something. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you said something, guys. You naughty people, moderators on there. Oh, you're gonna have to go now. All right, TK, bro. Have a nice one. Is it makruh to pray with shoes? No. Not at all. As long as they're not impure at the bottom. Didn't Umar didn't have a long mustache? So the sides were long, yeah. So these are called the subalatain. Yeah, the sides. So these would be long, and then in the middle he would have it trimmed over the mustache, over the lip. So trimmed over the lip. Do you have any advice? I learned to read the Quran and completely forgot. Do you think I could read it? Of course you can. I am not a Hafiz, um, so I wouldn't be the best person to ask, but I'm sure Hafiz would be able to tell you that inshallah you could re-memorize it again, inshallah. Uh, and are virgins for different definition to women who has committed zina? Yes. Yeah. Generally, according to Sahibain, yes, because it comes in the ruling of, when it comes to asking them consent for marriage. So non-married women, when their parents ask them if they want to get married to a particular guy, then they don't have to verbally say yes, they can indicate it. But women who've been married before, yeah, they have to verbally give consent legally. What is the ruling on watching cartoons with background music? Just keep repeating for emphasis. I don't know, I mean, these kind of things, it depends what kind of music. If it's just a light background music, it's not like a kind of song or anything like that, then possibly. If it's just for education purposes. Otherwise, a person should avoid it. If freelancers collect email data using AI tools that go against a website's terms of condition and I'm paying them for the work while the client pays me, is my income still? If freelancers collect email data using AI tools that go against a website's terms of service and I'm paying them for the work. So I don't understand the question. So what you're doing? So you're basically taking data, email. So you're scraping a website, for example. Is that what you're doing? Is my income, and then So what work are you doing for them exactly? Also, Shay, is it possible for someone to work part time family and become a serious student? Of course, I've seen so many students like that. MashaAllah, graduate and then. But the all dedication, isn't it? Dedication, commitment. Ask Allah to give you tawfiq. That's one of the biggest things. Yeah, honestly, asking Allah to give you tawfiq. Don't underestimate that. Lots of students have, have persevered in their studies because they asked Allah for tawfiq and Allah granted them. And unfortunately, you've seen some people, soon as they get married, they drop out. As soon as they have children, they drop out. As soon as they get a new job, they drop out. So many like reasons, barriers Allah could put in a person's way in their life, and they just drop out. It's very sad sometimes how things happen. And sometimes it could be for really, real, like on good reasons. Obviously, of course, I'm not saying these reasons are bad. But I'm just saying these are things that I've seen with students who have dropped out for whatever reason. Should I learn to read again through your videos, or would you suggest a teacher or tajweed? I mean, for you, whatever's easy for you. If you find the videos easy, try them. If you struggle with them, then learn it with a teacher, I would say. Should I learn to read? Okay, no. Do I need to make up with the witrs I didn't pray when I was following another madhab? Some Hanafis claim this. No, you don't. If you follow another madhab and the other madhab said it's not considered obligatory, then you don't have to make it up. Inshallah. What is the power of dhikr? The power of dhikr is to make you more trusting in Allah. Are you Salafi? No. Next question. Is this going to be like one of those kind of ones like, you have to tick off all the boxes? So, first box, my brother, no, I'm not. Wow, this next one. What Aqidah do you follow? I follow the Aqidah of the Sahaba. Whatever the Sahaba believed in, I believe in that. Because that's what Allah says. فَإِنْ آمَنُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا آمَنْتُمْ بِهِ فَقَدْ اهْتَدَوْا. If they believe in whatever you believe, O Sahaba, then they are guided. So that's it. Whatever the Sahaba believed in, I believe in that. And whatever they didn't delve into, I don't delve in that. What is the best dhikr to do? The best dhikr to do would be the best dhikr that Allah and the Prophet ﷺ have mentioned. Where is Allah? Yeah, this is the normal Salafi kind of like this is like like if you want to enter a Salafi club, like instead of putting the password in, you gotta like answer the question, where is Allah? And then you have like two options. So I don't know where Allah is. What I do know is that what the Quran says, Istawa al Arsh. That's what I do know. Alhamdulillah. In the Quran, I believe in that. Istawa al Arsh, that's it. Do you have others that's slow Arabic? Yeah. So check if you check on my bio page, you'll see some on there. You'll see some what do you call them? You know, channels on there, or is it like a group? And on there you can have about 35 videos I've got so far. Thoughts on Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab? He was he tried he tried his best, made lots of mistakes. Allah's gonna judge him on the day of Qiyamah. He wasn't a Sahabi. He was, of course, not a prophet. Yeah. Ya Allah, Hasbunallah. How should they plan their studies in terms of sciences? I don't understand. Oh, how should they? It's up to them. I think what they basically need to do is they need to understand what what are their what are their commitments that they have that they can't change. So you look in your day or your week, and you look at the things that are um, things that you cannot compromise. Yeah. So the non-compromisables, things that you cannot change, and then you look at the things that can be compromised. So then you work around those. So your work can't be compromised. So you're gonna have to go work. Sleep can't be compromised. Yeah. So you have to uh, you know you have to sleep for a certain number of hours, food, etc. And then you work around that and try to do. I would say try to focus on the things which are the most important studies first of all. Which ikhtilaf is there on chess without recognizable figures? Which ikhtilaf? I don't understand. Which ikhtilaf is there? I have no idea what you're saying. Sheikh, can you please make dua for me? I'm on kidney dialysis. Guys, make special dua for Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give. I don't know, is it a man or woman? I assume it's a woman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them ease, shifa kamil, give them sabr jameel, and make this a means of purification of their sins and change the difficulty into an opening for them. Would you say you're inclined to tafweed, Sheikh, more so than ta'wil idea? Yes, I probably would. I mean, to me, look, if I was living in the time of Sahaba, what would I believe in? So if whatever the Sahaba believe in until the day of Qiyamah, that belief is accepted by Allah. Whatever Sayyidina Umar believed in, whatever Sayyidina Ali, whatever Sayyidina Aisha believed in. So it has to make sense to them. Their belief has to be something that is almost eternal until the day of Qiyamah. So this is why I would say, as long as you believe in that, that's it. You don't have to do ta'wil. You don't have to. Can a Maturidi Hanafi guy marry a Salafi girl? I mean, if that's what they want, they can marry them. Do you believe you should follow a madhab or follow any? No, I believe you should follow madhab. Yeah. I had an Islamic entrepreneurial venture I have in mind, which I want to get your opinion on. Okay, ask away. Sophia, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan, Sophia. Sheikh, you have mentioned a divorce situation. So if wife didn't do like not an, like wife didn't do I don't understand. Husband just kept repeating 4 times. Will it be 3? So if wife didn't do I don't understand. Yeah. So if basically look, if talaq in Hanafi madhab, talaq is considered to be an insha in Arabic grammar. Insha basically means it has to be a statement that's initiated that wasn't there before. So if a man initiates 3 statements, knowing that he has initiated 3 statements, then this will be counted as 3 separate talaqs. But if a man says 1 talaq and then he repeats it because the person didn't hear, or he just wants to make emphasis of this 1 talaq, it'll only be counted as 1 because the first one is the insha emphasis. The first one is the insha. It's the contracting of the talaq, and then the other ones that follow after will actually be an emphasis of this. That's what it is. Wa alaikum assalam, my brother Salah. Ahla wa sahlan habibana. Guys, make special dua for our brother Salah's mother. May Allah give her shifa kamil. May Allah give him sabr jameel. Is chess without recognizable figures allowed in the Hanafi madhab? So the Hanafi madhab generally, classically, not allow chess. And the reason for it, that chess used to be associated with gambling. People used to play chess, used to gamble. Like, for example, race horsing. People nowadays who play with the race horsing generally is gambling. So this is why it was not allowed. As long as there's no gambling involved, as long as there is no missing of the obligations in one person's life, and it doesn't result in Muslims fighting one another, then it should be permissible. So should one start with Arabic and fiqh? I would say, yeah, definitely start with Arabic. Focus as much as you can and make yourself a goal that you want to be able to understand the Arabic as much as you can. Yeah, that's the main thing you want to do, because you want to be able to read books for yourself. Once you crack that, then you'll be able to understand, inshallah, the rest. I want to design a tool using a AI trained by Muslims which can authenticate a statement. Okay, how would it work? I don't understand. How would that work? What do you think of Mawlid? I mean, depends. What do you mean by Mawlid? Do you mean like, am I happy the Prophet ﷺ came into this world? Of course I am. Do you mean that I do it on a specific day in the year? No, I don't. Can I read witr out loud with recitation? I mean, the sunnah is for you not to read it out loud, read it quietly. But if there was a valid reason to read it out loud, then possibly. كيف حلوك؟ Allah, حلوي جميل. Sheikh, I am 17-year-old girl. I want to be Islamic teacher like you, inshallah. Inshallah, my young sister, inshallah, may Allah give you tawfiq. You work hard, inshallah. Make lots of dua to Allah. Allah give you shifa kamil, and one day you'll become a teacher, inshallah. Better than me, inshallah. You're welcome, Rosina. In a business, freelancers use AI tools to collect email addresses in a way that breaks a website's rules, and they're paid for it while the client pays me. Is the money earned from it halal? Possibly. Yeah, possibly. Possibly can be. I mean, I haven't looked into this myself. I'm just thinking out loud. As in, even if something is considered to be breaking the rules of the website, doesn't necessarily mean that the income would be considered to be haram, per se. It all depends upon the severity of it. Focus on one science at a time. Yeah, so focus on, like, because of your commitments, focus on the number of commitments, the number of sciences that you can dedicate yourself to. Wa alaikum assalam. Can you explain the difference between Kanz al-Daqaiq and Hidayah? Kanz al-Daqaiq basically is a summarization of Hidayah. That's what it is. You can almost, so if you study Hidayah, all you have to do is look at Kanz, and it kind of gives you the summary of the Hidayah. So generally, Kanz agrees with what Hidayah says, and sometimes it disagrees at some points. Does Kanz have 4 Imams? No. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. When we have our tax returns, should we give a certain amount away since the returns contain riba? I don't understand. How do they contain riba? If you give AI all the credible hadith, it'll have all the information, authentic and unclear matters. I think someone tried that when AI first came out, and they made a big mess of it. That was the problem, because they tried it and AI hallucinates. That's the problem. If you can guarantee that AI will not hallucinate and it will only authenticate, the problem, see, the problem, people who haven't studied Usul Hadith properly at the level of, when I say it properly, I mean at the level of Tadrib al-Rawi and Muqaddim al-Salah, yeah, and these books, they don't understand the technicalities in Usul Hadith. It's not just about terminology. So Imam, for example, Bukhari might accept a certain narrator when it comes to certain chapters, but in some chapters he won't accept them. So now, if the AI knows all this information, this is a very, very hard. You'd have to feed the AI like really intricate information. for it to be able to know this. That's the only problem I would have with this. And I am not an expert in hadith. You'd have to speak to like one of the world experts on hadith, like really senior scholars in hadith to be able to. Otherwise, you don't want, because the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever lies against me deliberately, let him take his place in the fire of Jahannam. You're making an app and it could potentially cause misguidance. And then you don't want the day of Qiyamah have to answer to all that. I don't know why I'm always never taught us Arabic, just speech and reading, not understanding it. Yeah. 100% I agree with you. I think the thing is, people when they start madrasas, they just think it's a carbon copy. They think it's just like, cookie cutout. They're just replicating whatever they learned from their teachers. Is using multiple generated accounts to get free things permissible? Possibly. I mean, it all depends on the terms and conditions of what you're. But generally, I would assume yes. Hard to explain. What's the ruling on the jumping pumpkin in the background? Yeah, that's true, innit? Maybe I should change for Halloween. I should change it just in case someone accuses me of tashabbuh. So, by the way, my jumping pumpkin. It jumps all year round, not just Halloween. Yeah, and it's not a scary pumpkin. It's a nice pumpkin, and obviously, pumpkin. Obviously, butternut squash, which is a type of pumpkin, is a sunnah food. I understand, however, nowadays a lot of Muslims face uncertainty on simple matters. Definitely, definitely. But the question is, would you make an app like this for medicine? Would it be safe to make an app that the AI tells people of what to take and what to? Yeah, I think it's dangerous, isn't it? AI isn't at that level yet, I think. Yeah. Do you agree with Islamic mortgage? It all depends. There's no one type of mortgage. If I say to you, do you agree with doctor surgeries? You're gonna say, which one? And that's it. I'm gonna say the same thing as well. Which mortgage? How does that mortgage work? So look, a normal conventional mortgage works like this. You want to buy a house. This is the house. Now, when you want to buy this house, the bank will say to you, okay, we will borrow you money, but you have to pay us back the same money with some extra on top. That's basically a normal mortgage. That's not allowed. Islamic mortgages, right, they're not allowed to do this. So what do they do then? So what they will do is they'll do a different thing. They'll do various models. Like one famous model is this. The Islamic bank will say, what do you want to buy? This house. Okay, we'll buy it, and then you buy it off us. Right? So that's allowed in Islam because you're buying something tangible. The reason why the conventional mortgage is not allowed is because you're buying debt. You're paying for debt. Whereas in this particular model of the Islamic mortgage, you're buying a house of someone. So let's say your brother said to you, let's say you got a brother, and your brother goes, "What do you want?" And he says, "I want this house." Okay, I'll buy the house for £100,000, and you buy it off me for £110,000. Simple as that. That's allowed. Yeah, because it's an asset, isn't it? It's something physical, tangible. Is it permissible for university students to take maintenance loans? I mean, hey, there was actually a guy once. This was like maybe 12 years ago. A guy once came to me and said he wants to start a business of halal nail varnish. So I said, okay, come and see me. So he came and saw me, and I explained to him, I go, have you really tested all of this of whether it fulfills the criteria? Because nail varnish is not simple that you just put one layer on. It could be some women might put several layers of nail varnish on. Maybe one layer of nail varnish might allow water to get to the nail, but two layers won't, or three layers won't. So how can you guarantee to someone when they use the nail varnish that your wudu's okay, that you can do wudu? So when he thought about that, and I wasn't willing to sign like my verification of this type of product, then he kind of like was a bit upset. But that's the thing. I mean, maybe in his head he thought he's going to make a lot of money from this, and he thought it was a really good idea. But some things might be good ideas in your head, but in the real world, then they don't really map out properly. Is it permissible for university students to take maintenance loans? So again, the loan is usually interest based, isn't it? So it's not allowed. If you bought it for 100k and you sell it for 100k, the extra 10k could be. No, that's not how interest works in Islam. Yeah, that's basically when you go to the shop and you buy chocolates, you buy crisps. How much do you think the shopkeeper buys it for? The shopkeeper buys it for much lower price, and then he sells you higher price. That's totally allowed in Islam. So if you guys want to know about interest, I've actually got some videos on interest on my YouTube channel. If you go to Kuduri and skim through the videos and come on to interest, riba, I've explained it over there. What is the best way of disposing a mushaf? The best way to dispose of it would be to, I mean, in today's times, would be to give it to an organization that actually disposes them. That's probably the most safest way. The other option would be that you can recycle it. You can put it into a recycling machine, shred it up into pieces, and then you can, if you can throw in the sea, throw in the sea. Otherwise, you can bury it somewhere, or you can even burn it after you've shredded it. Can I close my eyes during Salah to concentrate better? If that's the only way you feel you can concentrate, then inshallah. But otherwise, you should try to avoid it. Please tell me how often and when men should wear topi. Topis are only if they are. It's a social thing basically. It's in the society. If the society wears topis and everyone goes outside with topi on, then they should wear topi. I mean, you're looking at me. I would have topi. Probably thinking, how's this guy Maulana graduated, spent 9 years studying, and he doesn't wear a topi, and probably a lot of his teachers wear topis and they had imamas. So the we don't find any hadith of the Prophet ﷺ saying that we should cover our heads for men, and we don't find in ayats of the Quran. Yeah. So if you don't find in these two places, then we can tell that this is not considered to be something which is the core part of Islam. This is based upon a social practice. Like for example, why don't I wear lungi when many of the Sahaba used to wear lungi? Why don't I wear slippers when most of the Sahaba wear slippers? They never wore shoes that we wear today. It's the same kind of thing. What's the ruling on covering head when entering toilet? Not necessary. Yeah. Again, we don't have any authentic hadith. There's nothing in the Hanafi classical works, because I'm a Hanafi. We don't have anything in there that says you have to have your head covered. What's the ruling? Oh, okay. I was learning about Arabic grammar from the Medina books, and it's hard to find time now because of school. SubhanAllah. Allah make it easy for you, sister. Focus on your health, inshallah, and then after that, come back to Arabic, inshallah. If I have a clock out at work at 15 at work, but I leave 12:13, if I have to clock, Mirza, you need to be careful how you ask questions because you confuse me. If I have to clock out at 15 and work, but I leave at 12:13, are you okay? So 2 minutes earlier you left. Is that what you're saying? And let someone else clock out. So I would say ask your manager, are they okay with this? If your manager said they're okay with this, it's fine. If they say they're not okay with this, then it's not right. The point people need to understand is 6 or 7 years of Alimia course is just introduction to the ocean ilm, so you need to graduate equipped. 100%. I agree with you. To explore on your own, that includes Arabic understanding. TikTok has crazy amount of messages. So why Muslims? So why do Muslims wear long thobes? Why do Muslims have all these attire? It's because it's a cultural thing, isn't it? So a cultural thing. What we have to understand is times have changed very fast recently. People around the world used to cover their head the last 100 years. So before the last 100 years, people used to cover their head. Even in England, women used to cover their head. Men used to when they used to go outside. So it was a norm. It was a practice of the society. It wasn't done as a religious duty, basically. So they most likely do it because they feel this is the better way to present yourself. That's it. Yeah, like some people feel going outside with shalwar kameez on or thobe on. Like if you go to Pakistan, you go to some villages and they feel uncomfortable wearing trousers and shirt. They feel more comfortable wearing shalwar kameez. Is it recommended to read surahs in order during salat? In fard salat, you have to, and otherwise in other salats you don't have to. Ya Allah. Where's the moderators when you need them, man? I need to get some new moderators on TikTok. Some good people. Walaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan. Is Bitcoin crypto halal in Hanafi madhab? So I would say Bitcoin should be okay. Thank you for that. Some of our scholars are so strict on the topi. Yeah, 100% agree. How should we understand Salawatul Fatih compared to Salawat Ibrahim? I don't know. Where in the UK are you based? Birmingham. How can one avoid repeating a sin if they're committed habitually? So try to gradually wean yourself off it. That's the best thing. Wean yourself off it. Find out, is there something that is around you, or you do something when you commit that sin? Is it because you look at some websites? Is it because you're hanging around with some friends? Is it because you go to certain places? Try to move yourself away from that. Thank you for that. You're welcome. And that one. I would like to know more about Sharia law in inheritance. I've got actually on my YouTube channel, I have actually got a whole series I've done on inheritance. So you can check out there, inshallah. If you've got a specific question, you can email me, and when I get time, I can respond to that. You have to wajib. I don't know. What is the one salah which is obligatory but it's not permissible to be paid, prayed on time? I don't know. Have you been to certain mosque? Yes. Please, can you clarify why is there two times for Asr? So the reason why there's two times for Asr is because the narrations regarding what time Zuhr finishes and Asr starts is unclear. So they're conflicting. So those who have studied hadith know that hadith are basically statements of the Prophet ﷺ that Sahaba heard, and they're trying to pass them on to the next generation now. And sometimes when they pass them on, those who come later on, they can't make sense of exactly how to connect them together. So this now causes a reason for difference of opinion now. Yeah. So for example, I'll give you an example. There was two groups of Sahaba. The Prophet ﷺ said to them, make sure you pray your Salat, Asr Salat in Banu Qurayza. They hadn't prayed it yet. So now they're on their way, going, and Maghrib is about to start now. The sun's about to set, and they haven't prayed Asr yet. And one group says, we're going to pray our Asr, and then we're going to continue the journey. And the other group said, no, the Prophet ﷺ said, none of you should pray your Asr except in Banu Qurayza, in that village. So they said, we're going to listen to exactly what the Prophet ﷺ said. So they went. And the other group said, no, he didn't mean that. He didn't mean miss your Asr and pray your Asr qadha over there. He meant ASAP, get yourselves over there. So they prayed and the others didn't. And then they got there, they prayed, they told the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ said, nothing to do with them. Both of them did what they felt was the right thing. So this now brings us on to the Asr issue in the Zuhr. So what time does it exactly finish? So Abu Hanifa and his students said, we feel that the dalil for praying Asr after the one shadow is stronger. Abu Hanifa says that's fine, but it's better to pray after the two shadows just to be certain that Zuhr has finished. Because once two shadows has started, now you know 100% Zuhr has finished. Alaikum assalam. I'm new to your channel. What do you exactly teach? Do you have any courses? If you go to my YouTube channel, you can find lots of courses I have there. And if you go to uruk.com, if you look at my bio, I've got a website there. And those ones are mostly paid ones on the website. But on my YouTube channel, all free. I teach Arabic, I teach grammar, I teach fiqh, Hanafi fiqh, I teach hadith. The Sheikhs of Tasawwuf recommend covering the head for getting extra reward. Okay, but I mean that's fine. If you wanna, if that's what I'm saying. If you feel comfortable with that, that's fine. But that's not in the Hanafi school itself, in the sense that there's special reward attached to the hat or the coverage of the head. But like I said, if a person wishes to do that, then that's fine. I want to learn Arabic speaking so I can converse as I'm looking to move to Medina. MashaAllah. Well done. Go for it. Find yourself a good teacher or classes, inshallah. Does the YouTube video cover aspect of 1/3 wasiyah? No, I don't go into details of wasiyah. It's just a distribution, that's all. What mosque are you based at normally? As-Sufa Institute. Alaikum assalam. IDK, mashallah. So what does in order mean? In order means like Fatiha, Baqarah, Ali Imran, Nisa, Ma'idah, An'am, like that. Right? So that order. So if you're going to read, for example, Surah Alam Tara Kayfa, you're not going to read Wal Asr after it. According to Abu Hanifa's opinion, can beer even be najis? Good question. I answered this early on. I heard that long tops for men are better at this creates more of the cover. I would say yes. Yeah. Just to confirm, no hadith on men covering head. No. There's no authentic hadith the Prophet ﷺ ever said to anyone, cover your head. Not even one. Hamim, ahlan wa sahlan wa alaikum assalam, my brother. I'm here. Were you talking about TikTok? I think so. I heard Imam Abu Hanifa had a lot of haya. He wouldn't take off his topi. I've never come across that. In fact, Abu Hanifa says, Rahimullah, he says, if a person prays their salat with their head uncovered out of humbleness, then he says that's actually something good. I know what happens when someone has gone through a madrasa and they've kind of been taught in a certain way and they've seen their teachers covering their heads. They find it very hard to accept that exposing the hair of the head is something which goes against something. Like they feel inside it's wrong, which is fine. So I remember when I was young, we were taught not to say the word pig. We say if you say pig, you have to spit 3 times. And until I don't know until when I felt uncomfortable saying the word pig. I actually felt it. I would say pig. I didn't know why. I thought that's part of Islam. Then later on, when I studied, I realized there's actually no way. The Quran has got the explicit word khinzir. No one says kha, noon, za, ya, ra. No one says that. So sometimes these kind of things you have to understand. You have to be able to understand the dalil. You have to understand why certain groups are so specific about the covering of the head, why others are so okay about it. Can you provide a couple of justification used for the minimum amount of mahar? So the minimum, oh, by the way, good news, guys. We have almost finished Hidayah of the chapter of Hajj. And inshallah, we're going to be starting Kitab al-Nikah, inshallah, soon. So the Hanafis basically say that, look, in the Quran, Allah says, قَدْ عَلِمْنَا مَا فَرَضْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ فِي أَزْوَاجِهِمْ. So we know what we have specified for them in their marriage. So therefore, the word faradna, Hanafi say, has to mean like there has to be a minimum amount. So there must be a minimum amount for this to happen, as in a mahar to happen. So what is that minimum amount? We don't know. It's mujmal. So we try to understand it from other evidences. So we find in Islam, is there any significance given to a small amount of wealth? We say yes in theft. That if a person steals the amount of 10 dirhams, then they can get the penalty. So that's what the Hanafi say, okay, that seems to be something sensible now, an amount that's sensible. So they use this. Is any tafsir considered authoritative? No, not necessarily. Tafsirs are not authoritative in and of themselves. What's authoritative is obviously Allah's words, the Prophet ﷺ's words. Yeah, those are, and the language itself. He saw some Nabi Subaitopi. Hardly. In fact, there's a friend of mine who actually wrote a book. I've got it somewhere here. When he was in Madrasa, it was about the covering of the head and Imama. It was about Imama. And he said, according to Mullah Ali Qari, it is a bid'ah for a person to continuously wear a hat on his head. He goes, the Prophet never, hardly ever wore a hat, very rarely. What he normally would have was his head would be covered with an imama or a cloth. Yeah, that's why he says. His name was, the author of the book is Abdul Basir. He was from Iran. So in our madrasa, books used to be published. See if I can see it here. Yeah, books used to be published by students who are in the takhasus fil hadith. I can't seem to see it now. But yeah, it was an interesting point that I came across. You don't teach Bukhari? No, I don't teach Bukhari. Ya Allah. Ya Allah, hasbunallah. Wa alaikum assalam from Chechnya. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Welcome, my Chechnyan family. Chechnyan, I like Chechnyans. Chechnyans, when you see them in the haram, these guys they look like proper tough Muslims. Yeah, Chechnyans. That kind of whole area, Dagestan, Chechnya, all that kind of South Russian area. I used to have friends from Tajikistan, from Kazakhstan. Please tell me the hukum of women covering head. They must. Women in front of other men, they must cover their head. Yeah. So you would say covering head with imama is better than topi. I mean, if you want to follow it like that, like as you say, if you want to follow it as in what did the Prophet ﷺ used to do the most, then of course wearing the imama and the covering of the head with the cloth is the closest to following the Prophet ﷺ. And the Prophet ﷺ never wore trousers, by the way. Yeah, never. There's no authentic report that he ever wore trousers. He wore lungi, and he never wore underwear. So if you want to follow the Prophet ﷺ to the T, then that's basically what you should be doing. Now, I'm not saying obviously this is the recommended in the fiqh or anything like that. What I'm saying is when people ask these kind of questions, how far do we go to this? And someone asked me, I said, look, this is how the Prophet ﷺ used to dress. He never wore shoes. He always wore slippers. Strepsils contain alcohol. Is it forbidden to take for sore throat? I mean, if there's another alternative available, you have to take that. Can't take this. But if there's nothing else, then possibly. Same here, Sheikh about khinzir. Can women touch and read the Quran for hifz or tajweed lessons in the state of hayd? According to Hanafis, no, they can't. But if a woman fears, I would say this, if a woman fears that she's going to forget the Quran because of the hayd and she's a hafidha, she's learning, then some Hanafis have allowed her to take the Maliki position, which is it's allowed for them only for that specific situation. What's the ruling on returning owed money to someone that's passed away? Obligatory. You got to give it to their heirs. Is it haram to eat fish fingers? I mean, as long as there's only fish in there and it's not human fingers. What kind of imama? I mean, imama simply means a wrapping around the head. Just a wrapping around the head. Wa alaikum assalam, Sheikh. How can one redo their revision for Alim class? How can they restart on the... what I would suggest is start from the first year, the books you did in year one. Go over them on your own again now, one by one, and make your own notes. And that way you'll cover all your gaps, inshallah. Because we grew up learning Topi Sunnah. So I assume Rosina's a lady. I assume you're having semi-heart attacks today, hearing new information. It would be, I mean, see that, I don't know if you studied Rosina in madrasa. Yeah, but the term Sunnah, according to Hanafi madhab, actually means tariqa masluka fi din min ghayr lazum. It's a specific definition. If you mean by Sunnah as in the Prophet ﷺ did it, if you can find a hadith and you can show it to me, authentic hadith, inshallah, I'll look into it, inshallah. Maybe like look into a hadith, or look into that the Prophet ﷺ regularly wore topi. It would be nice for a video or series on the process of tarkeeb and how to practically break down. Have you checked my quick tarkeeb series? I've got about 30 videos in there, 35 videos. And I've done the whole Surah Qasas tarkeeb as well. Check that out. On my uruk.com, I actually have a course for this. It's a paid course. Yeah, and that I actually go through, building up tarkeeb. So if you do my Quranic Arabic 17 lessons, which is £50, that then starts you on to doing the next part. I'm actually going to start a part 2 of Quranic Arabic 17 lessons. It's going to be part 2 now, which is the last surahs of the Quran. So I do tarkeeb of all of that. And then once the student's done those 2 courses, then they go on to the third course, which is a grammar course, which is focus on grammar and tarkeeb. Then after that, they should be okay in tarkeeb, inshallah. Women at home covering head, how far? No, they don't have to cover their heads at home. Yeah, they don't have to cover their heads at home. Women do not have to cover their heads at home, nor when they're going to sleep. Right? See, when people say, what is taqwa? No one had more taqwa than the Sahaba. Right? No one has more taqwa than the Sahaba. What did the Sahaba? We never hear about the wives of the Prophet ﷺ ever covering their heads whilst they're in the home. Right? We don't hear them. Covering of the head was done obviously in front of. So at home, you don't have to cover your head. There's no special reward in covering your head at home. Some people say some things like, shaitan's come if a woman doesn't have a head cover. My granddad, may Allah forgive him, give him Jannah, he used to always say at home to his daughters, cover your heads, because when you have your head uncovered, shaitan comes and he urinates on your head. I used to believe that. And then I looked up the hadith, couldn't find any hadith for it. Now, if someone says it's more taqwa, someone can say, okay, it's more taqwa not to eat any meat in the country because you don't know if it's halal. It's more taqwa not to live in a house. It's more taqwa to live in like a house that has no central heating and no windows, like the Sahaba lived in. This issue of is it more taqwa? This is something I think is unfair for people to use, because this makes it out as though that there's no point of following the fiqh, but you're going to make up your own measure for what is taqwa. Taqwa, obviously, the Prophet ﷺ, when some Sahaba came to him, to his house, and he wasn't there, and they asked the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, Aisha radiallahu anha, they said, tell us what the Prophet ﷺ does. And she described it. And then one of them goes, that's it. I am not going to go near my wife again. In other words, if I reworded it and said, he said, it's more taqwa not to go near your wife again. And another one said, I am not going to sleep ever again now. I'm just going to pray all night. And in other words, it's more taqwa not to sleep at night. And the other one said, I'm going to fast every day and not eat. It's more taqwa. The Prophet came and he heard this. And he said, أَأَنْتُمْ الَّذِينَ قُلْتُمْ كَذَا وَكَذَا? Are you the one saying all this? And they go, yeah. And he got upset at them. And he goes, Inni atqakum lillahi wa akhshahu. I am the most taqwa here, the one who has most taqwa, the most has God fear in his heart. And I sleep sometimes, and I eat sometimes, and I have intimacy with my wife sometimes. Man raghiba an sunnati laysa minni. Whoever turns away from my sunnah is not from me. So if you create your own level of taqwa, you can become very extreme in how you view Islam. And this is the sad reality. Unfortunately, what happens, people will use this to emotionally blackmail other people. That, oh, you're not doing this. You're not following the proper taqwa though. I'm following the proper taqwa. So no offense to you, Rosina, but I'm just saying generally this is what I've seen people say. And this is not the natural way of following Islam. This is a very, very tunnel vision. وعليكم السلام شبند أهلا وسهلا حبيبنا كيف الحال حبيبي الحمد لله بخير. Are all marine species halal? According to Hanafis, only fish. What comes under fish? Come salam. Ilm Jafari, please, for students of knowledge. I don't know Ilm Jafari, bro. I think, are you Bangla? Are you Bangla, bro? Asking Ahlul Bayt questions. Can you eat turkey dinosaurs even if they're I don't know what this guy's on about. I have to block him. I don't know what the guy's on about. Permission stem cell based therapy. I don't know. I haven't looked into that, so I wouldn't be able to answer. Where can I learn more about Prophet Sallallahu clothing and topi? Books of Sirah. So if you read the books of Sirah, they actually have sections. There's actually a good one on Sharh al-Qustullani. Yeah. So there he's got like sections on what the Prophet ﷺ used to wear. And so shrimps under fish. So there's a difference of opinion. Yeah. In the Hanafis, there's a difference of opinion. We don't have anything in the classical works on this, but Maulana Abdul Mateen has written a commentary, Kifayat al-Muqtadi. He's from Bangladesh. He's a very good Hanafi scholar, a student of Maulana Abdul Malik in Bangladesh, Dhaka. And he has mentioned in his Kifayat al-Muqtadi that he says, according to the Arabic language, shrimp actually comes under fish. Anyway, guys, I am going to finish it there, guys. Jazakumullah khair. Oof, didn't realize the time, almost 2 hours, guys. You guys have kept me up for 2 hours. Subhanallah. All right, guys, take care, inshallah. Now, look, guys, please make special dua for my channel, yeah? Make special dua for me. Allah gives barakah in my time, my effort. And if I have offended any of you guys, I do apologize. I don't mean to offend anyone here. I just come on here because I feel as though whatever I've learned, I want to share it with you guys. That's what. You don't have to agree with everything I say. I always say this to you guys. If you are more comfortable listening to someone that wears a topi on their head, if you're more comfortable listening to someone who has a shorter mustache, or if you're more comfortable listening to someone who doesn't come on social media, then alhamdulillah, that's something which I would definitely recommend. Yeah, because the deen of Allah is greater than me, is greater than any scholar, is greater than any madhab out there. And we should all strive to bring the ummah together. We are living in a time where we need, without a doubt, we need to become stronger Muslims. Right? We can't mess around. We can't criticize each other. We can't badmouth each other. Backbiting is haram in Islam. And then backbiting each other as Muslims, this is a very bad thing. So we make dua for the Muslims around the world as well. Anyway, guys, take care, everyone. Have a nice one. I will see you guys next week.